What are you at? It's Paul from Wicked Acorn. I might as well use this thing. I have no other use for it. What do we got here? It's hard to know which way to turn this because you're so used to a mirror. It's the opposite of a mirror. It's so weird knowing which way to turn. I was showing you all different ways that these are used. There's a tail slate. I remembered another one, this one. I'm probably not doing it right, but this is another one. And this is what you do when you're recording MOS. MOS means without sound, so there's no audio. And the story goes, it came from the early days of film. A lot of the camera guys were German, and they would say, "Without sound, without sound," so it became MOS. But this is not MOS. Good evening, everybody. Who we got here? We got Astrex has come in from gardening. Good to have you back. 1234 is here, and Darren and Astrex. Good evening, everybody. Well, there was another thing I wanted to show you. Rick got very excited about this when I offered him one of these the other day. I bought a box of these Bazooka Joe. Do you remember those? Can you read the joke there? Anyway, I kept the comic, um, but I have no longer need to keep it. I just wanted to show you guys. Bazooki Joe. Tonight, the um, the thumbnail was blue and white 19th century AI. And it's a stretch to call it that, but it's an interesting thing. I'm working on a video. Oh, I need to remember. I forgot to do this, and let me just see if I can get on this thing here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to sign in on this computer to this thing I wanted to show you. I'm working on a video. I'm working on several videos. Um, where's login? And I'll show you a video. Oh yeah, I'm in. Good. Okay. Um, so I haven't started doing this one yet, but it's one I'm working on. And as I've talked about before, I enjoy AI. It's a bit of fun. I think some of them have taken it too far. But the one I want to do is about the blue willow plate pattern. And you'd be hard pressed to dig a hole anywhere, anywhere in the English speaking world. I know back home in Newfoundland in Canada, you could not dig a hole without finding a shard of blue willow plate. You could not dig a hole, period. No matter where you dug it, if you dug a hole, you would find a shard of this. guaranteed you would find a shard of one of these. It might have been a cup or a bowl or whatever, but blue willow, this pattern. And it was it's still a popular pattern. And I wanted to do a video about it because I went to a park, Pease Home Park is the name of the park. And Pease Home Park is, the design of the park is this plate. And Pease Home Park looks like that. It's got the little mountain with the pagoda on top and the willow trees. And so it was designed on the plate. And that got me interested in doing a video about it. And that was back in 2021 that I went there. I haven't been back there since. But I shot all kinds of video, and my intention was to do a video like this. So I wanted to do a video like this, do some animation, and I just never got around to it. It was just too much work to do and find time to do it. But now that I have access to some AI, I might have a go at it. I haven't, I'll show you some of the other ones I'm working on. But this is the story of the blue willow pattern, because the really interesting thing about the blue willow pattern is, well, I'll play the video and then I'll come back and tell you the real story. This is the legend of the blue willow pattern.
In China, long ago, there was once a wealthy mandarin who had a beautiful daughter named Kungsi. The mandarin employed a young man named Chang as his clerk. Chang loved Kungsi, and she loved him too. He asked the mandarin for Kungsi's hand in marriage, but the old man was angry that this humble youth had dared to raise his eyes to his daughter. He dismissed Chang at once and told Kungsi never to think of him again. Instead, he arranged a marriage for her to a wealthy duke. The night before the wedding, Chang arrived at the mandarin's house in disguise and whispered to Kungsi to run away with him. Together they fled across a bridge to an island where a boat waited to take them to safety. Alas, the mandarin discovered their flight and pursued them, vowing death to the lovers. But just as he was about to catch them, the gods took pity on Kungsi and Chang and turned them to a pair of doves, forever in love and safe from the mandarin's vengeance.
So that's the legend of the blue willow plate, the blue willow pattern. I've been missing out on the chat here because I didn't have it up. Jeff was out gardening. Did you find any blue willow? My parents' garden had quite a few shards. Yes, you cannot dig a hole without finding um, blue willow. You can't, it's impossible to dig a hole without finding a shard of blue willow plate. It was everywhere. It was like clay pipes. And the thing about clay pipes is they're they're the equivalent of cigarette butts. Remember when you used to see cigarette butts everywhere? You don't see them so much nowadays, but because not as many smokers, and I guess the streets are cleaned up more. But I remember back in the 70s and 80s, there were cigarette butts everywhere, At least there were in Newfoundland. You'd see them everywhere. And clay pipes were the same. It was a disposable thing. I mean, real pipes existed, but the clay pipe was like a disposable pipe. It was a cheap pipe that everybody had. They were cheap to make, cheap to buy. So that's why you find so many clay pipes. They were the whatever era that is. I mean, they go back over several centuries. But yeah, they're just like cigarette butts. Um, so you find them everywhere, and you find the blue willow everywhere. Um, so that story, yes, there's several different colors of it. The blue willow was the most popular, and we'll get into that in a second. Like old shells. Oh, old shells like ammunition. Yeah, you had a big ammunition place out there you were showing me that took up the whole world, manufacturing munitions in the Second World War, right? That's Asterix I'm speaking to there now. If there's no audio, if you're watching this afterwards and there's no audio on that part, it's because there was a copyright claim on it. So I should have given you that warning ahead of time. So yeah, I don't know what the equivalent would be today. Um, yeah, the blue was the more popular, but there were brown and black. But anyway, we're going to watch a video about that stuff, and we'll get into the other video and just see a bit about it, and because there's a lot I have to say about this, but oh, I was going to show you the AI I'm working on. How do I? There we go. I was going to show you this. Just let me get it queued up here. Yeah, it's I don't know if this is going to work. I don't want to put it on screen because I might have some private information there, the passwords and stuff. Not that I don't trust the people that are here live. The people here live, but it could be any kind of riffraff watching this after the fact. Is this the one? Yeah, this is one. I'm not going to use this one because, but 1234 will recognize this, I think. That is Sail Station. Is it all in the frame there? Yeah. So I'm doing a video. This is for a different video. This is not for the Blue Willow one. This is another one I'm working on about. I won't give away what it's about. But do you recognize this one? 1234. It's my new guitar. No, I can't play YYZ. YYZ. It's been a long, long time since I played YYZ. I've been. Anyway, this is a new guitar I got a little while ago. I've got it tuned down. so I'd never be able to play YYZ on it now. It's what is it? Tanglewood. Tanglewood. It's the closest I could get to an affordable British guitar. Yeah, it's Sail Station, and the video is, well, I don't want to give away what it's about, uh, but there is not this street lamp, but there is an old street lamp down by Sail Station. It's down on the junction of Hope Road, and it's the video I'm working on has got to do with that. Clackers and bike tires over lampposts. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty good guitar. I just put new strings on it. It had really, really heavy gauge strings on it, like really heavy. The nut wasn't filed for them either. They were stuck in the nut. They were so big. Uh, let's just play this. So this is I'm not gonna. Oh, this has got sound too. Um, can I mute that? Yeah, there we go. So yeah, I'm not going to use that one. I can't remember what was wrong with that. Something wrong with it. Anyway, I'm only learning how to use this new AI thing here. But it's really, really interesting. This is this the one here? So this is the one I think I'm using. So it goes from him climbing up to a close-up of him lighting it. And so researching this, there are still 1,000, and maybe you guys know this, in the city center, I believe there's still an old, there is an old street light there, but is it still gas powered? I have to go in and check it out, but not if you guys know. Let's see, where is the other one of this? Is this it? Yeah, there's still there are like 1,000 gas-powered lights still in operation in London, and they still have 5 gas um, lamplighters. Now this is it here, I think. No. So yeah, it took a lot of tries to get this to work. Like you have to figure out the prompts, the right words to put in, so it will cut from this to the close up of him lighting it. But it's pretty neat, isn't it? But the idea I came up with, and I'll just throw this idea at you. This is you recognize that guy? So that's me talking about AI. It's sort of so the intro to the video. I'm talking about AI in videos, and I say, "Who knows? Maybe I'm next." But the idea I came up with for using AI because I think it's a bit. It's can be really overused and really badly used. I think this is a good one. Is this it? I'm still working on this one. I can't get it to do it the way I want. It's really difficult to get the words to convey what you want to a computer, you know? Is this it? I'll show you this one anyway. So this is I mean, that's a good use of maps, right? Like, this is a map I want to use for the video. And instead of just, Google Earth or whatever, I could cut to Google Earth or whatever from this. So trying to get that to get the prompts to make it work. But the idea I came up with is kind of interesting. See what you guys think of it. Yeah, that's Scrimshaw. I have a sperm whale tooth that my grandfather found uh, attached to um, a whale washed up on the beach where he lived when he was a kid. And he went out with an axe and cut the tooth out, cut a tooth out of the whale with the axe. And you can see where the axe cut it off. But yeah, it's a big, big whale tooth, like that big, you know, size of your hand. Um, and one of these days I might do scrimshaw on it. Um, yeah, it's a massive tooth. I've never seen a sperm whale. I've seen lots of other whales, seen orcas, and oh, one time, man, I was in a kayak. It was the most amazing thing. It was fin whale. Fin whales are, I think they're the third largest whale or the second largest, like after the blue whale. They're massive creatures anyway. Um, Absolutely massive creature. And I was sea kayaking, and this whale was coming right for me, and he was coming right for me, like front. I'm facing that way, and he's coming this way, and it was a little bit scary, but it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. Though the fin whale doesn't do the tail thing; its tail doesn't come out of the water like a humpback. Seen humpbacks jump out of the water. That's amazing. Um, but the fin whale, its tail doesn't come out of the water, just its back. But I think they're the second biggest whale. They're absolutely massive. Um, yeah, and I was like terrified at the beginning because he's coming for me, and it's this massive creature. So I knew he could hear me, so I started tapping on the boat with the paddle like that, so he could know I was there. Because I couldn't get out of his way. There was, it was just not enough time, and he's too big, and I'm too slow. So I just tapped on the boat so he knew I was there, and he just went right under me, and massive fins, like wings, coming out. It was incredible, absolutely incredible. If you're into that stuff, it's Newfoundland is the place to go. So I'm thinking about Yeah, there's I don't know if it's still there, the sperm whale skeleton. There was a whale, because that video is uh, something to do with whales as well. Um, there was a, can't remember what kind of whale it was, but it went on tour, and I found pictures of it in, I think in Manchester, around here. It could have been Oldham, but definitely around here in Manchester, and it was in formaldehyde, the entire thing, like 60 feet long or whatever it was, this massive thing, and it was on tour. Like we're talking back in the early 1900s, I guess, and it was on tour, like of the world, going around the world. And there's a photo of it in Manchester. I'm pretty sure it's Manchester, in the city center. See, this one's a bit messed up, but what I'm thinking about doing is incorporating our little guy Salix into these videos. So it's not like an AI ripoff of something. And if he's in the video, it's obviously AI, right? It's not. I'm not trying to fool anybody if he's in it. So I'm thinking about that. So this one didn't work out, but it's a guy. Um, it's supposed to be a poacher poaching pheasant. Another video I'm working on, and our little man Salix here is spying on him. So the voiceover on this is talking about the poacher. This one didn't work out. I can use it up to about, no, I can't use it there. Oh, I cropped it in and cropped the pheasant and whatever that is that peeks out around the tree, and you can just see the uh, the guy creeping up. So I get Salix reaction. So I'm thinking about trying that. This is, I think that's just the image. So I can cut these together, right? It's pretty good, isn't it? Um, in all the beaches I've been on, and I've been on a lot of beaches, I've never seen whale bones or skeletons. They're very common to find, but people scoop them up quite quickly when they do find them. There's another thing that I've seen. Where was that? Can't remember where that was, but somewhere in this country, the think humpback whale. The humpback whale, its jaw bones, they kind of look like ribs, and people often call them ribs, but they're not ribs. They're the jaw bones, and it's just like a long rib kind of bone. And it was a common thing. You'll see them not all over the place, but they're pretty common in Newfoundland. People use them because there was whaling in Newfoundland up until the early 60s. People use them as like a gateway. Like there's a cemetery in, I think it's in Avondale, has has them as the entry to the cemetery. They're massive, absolutely massive. Like I don't know, like 20 feet, 20 feet long, and I saw appear somewhere in this country, not far from here, a photo of them. I never saw them with my own eyes. So this is another video I'm working on. Oh, it's the same video. You were just watching the poacher guy there. So this is so the video is about this figurine here. Interesting story about this figurine. I don't want to get into making videos about crockery, but Brancaster Beach. I don't know where that is. Um, yeah, it may be jaw bones. They're often, but it could be ribs. But the jaw bones were a common thing they kept, um, because the jaw bones, uh, that type whale, like the sperm whale, has teeth, but fin whales, humpbacks, blue whales, all those guys, they're filter feeders. They eat krill and plankton and stuff, and they have it's almost like feathers, like gigantic feathers, but they're hard, and that's what they used to make corsets out of. It was the 19th century plastic. Um, uh, their jaws had like feathers in them. It's like a filter that they would filter the krill. It kind of looks like a feather. That's the only thing I can use to describe it. And like the hard part of the feather, or the baleen, it's called, um, is what they would make everything out of. But they made corsets. Famously, they made corsets out of them. The stays and the corsets. Yeah, the vertebrae, you'll often see those. People collect those. Like I said, I've never seen any whale bones in all the beaches I've been on, um, because people collect it right away. You got to be the first to find it. Um, so yeah, this is our guy Salix there. So I'm thinking about doing this. I'm going to do one like it anyway and see how it's received. So, so just give you a bit of the story of the um, China here, how it is the 19th century AI. Not really; it's a stretch to call it that, but it's interesting. So I'll let it play here, and I'll read what you're saying.
Hello everyone and welcome to this virtual lecture on the Ceramics in Britain course. My name is Florence Tyler and I'm the curator for 19th century ceramics and glass at the Victoria and Albert Museum. And I'd just like to thank the Paul Mellon Centre and Helen Ritchie for inviting me to give you this lecture today. Blue and white transfer printed ceramics are one of the most recognisable forms of tableware in the world, and I'm sure that most of you have seen at some point a version of the plate on the top left of this slide, and if not, then I'm positive that after today you'll notice it cropping up around you in various places. The pattern is of course the willow pattern, which is probably the best known and most widely used.
Luminous water is more common than you think. Um, it it's not really. It's like it has to be activated. Uh, it's krill or some kind of plankton or something, and they fluoresce when they're disturbed, and they're in a lot of water. all over the world. And if you disturb them, it's like you you run your hand through the water. It's like, it's like that, those glow stick things, like that greenish, you know, phosphorescent color. It's quite common. You'd be surprised. It's in a lot of water.
Design to have ever been made. Production of transfer printed ceramics began in the second half of the 18th century, but it was in the 19th century, with the development of mass production techniques, that factories all over the country began to make blue and white transferware in a wide variety of patterns and styles that are now synonymous with British design. For over a century, Britain was the leading manufacturer and exporter of transferware, supplying these household goods to a mass market who could afford this good quality but inexpensive type of tableware. The title of this lecture is Blue and White in 19th Century Britain and Beyond, and the main focus is blue and white ceramics made in Britain. But to understand the development of these objects and why blue and white as a colour combination was so popular, we need to look beyond.
I forgot what I was going to say then. Yeah, it is amazing to see. It's really amazing. Um, the other thing they eat that I remember the first time I saw it, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. We have a fish called capelin, and it's a school fish. It's a tiny fish. It's about 6 inches long, and they are in massive schools. And every year, um, it's a it's a saying in Newfoundland, Capelin weather, like when it's misty, foggy, and warm. That's Capelin weather, and they come ashore. They roll up on the beaches like in massive, massive numbers. You can dip them up in a bucket, and like it's a thing that we do. There's so many of them that it's it was common, and it still is common, to go and collect them and put them on your garden as fertilizer. That's how plentiful they are. It was really common years ago before modern fertilizers, but people still do it. Yeah, just massive, massive schools of them, and they disturb the water, and it's just incredible to see. And capelin, when capelin roll on a beach, fascinating, absolutely magic. And I remember the um, the male and female are quite distinct from each other. Um, not quite distinct, but easily to tell apart. The female has a fat belly, and the males have like a concave sides, and I guess they rub up against each other to fertilize the eggs. And yeah, it's like the male is convex on its sides. Its sides go in, and the females are fat and round with spawn. And I remember that night. Of course, what we would do is take the fish and run your thumb, like from its throat to its rectum, and squirt the spawn at each other. And I went out to my uncle Ray. I said, Uncle Ray, and he turned around and said, "Wah," and I squirted right in his mouth. Oh, that was a fun memory. Uh, and yeah, that was the first time I'd ever seen the capelin. And squid do it as well. Squid can come ashore like that. That was incredible. Like when you get in a school of squid, it's like you've run aground. They will lift the boat off the water, like a small boat, which we were in, a little 8 foot flat bottom boat, and it lifted the boat off the water, the squid. Incredible amount of fish in the sea, as they say.
Britain at the global context in which these pieces were made. So we'll first look at the history of blue and white in ceramics, starting with Chinese porcelain and its huge influence on potters around the world. And from there, we will examine the origins of British blue and white, how the transfer printing process revolutionised ceramic industry, and we'll look at some of the best known and most successful transfer patterns produced in the 19th century. I'd also like us to.
So I don't think we're going to have time to watch this whole lecture, but isn't that great? This is back 5 years ago. This is back when YouTube was the best, back during lockdown. And you'd get all these lectures, excuse me, online. It was fantastic. I wish they were still doing it. I mean, this is brilliant. I'm sure she gives talks about this stuff wherever this is. Um, but I don't think we're gonna have time to watch the whole thing. We have our quiz to do, and it's getting near supper time here. I heard somebody come in. Um, yeah, it's fascinating how they do it, because I've always wondered how they do it. They explain it in this video. It's because back in the day, how did they do that? Um, I'm sure some of you guys have made model airplanes and stuff, and you would get the little decals, the little, the roundels and stuff that would, the slide off decals that you would stick on the planes, and the numbers and letters and all those things that would come with the model airplanes, model cars, whatever you were into. Um, but of course, they didn't have that, and I've always wondered how they made this back in the day. And she explains it here. I'll just say it quickly because she goes into quite depth about it. So they carve it into a copper plate, like making a print. And they would use like this really fine paper and tissue paper, they say here. And that's how they would transfer the print to the plate or cup or bowl or whatever they were making. You can see, because the paper was so thin, like tissue paper, and that's how they would get the image onto the plates or the crockery or whatever you call it, and then it's fired in. That's what I might have shown you this before. This is one my wife picked up at one of those second-hand places, charity shop or something. Let me flick over to the other screen here. You see where my finger is there? It's a seed. And ever since she brought it home, she didn't notice it when she bought it. Of course, we ate off it, and when I was scraping the dishes into the compost, I was just trying to get this seed off, but it's baked in. It must have fell on the plate when they were making it, and it's baked into the finish. So that's there to remind me I have to make that video. It's a and the story, the folk legend story, so interesting. It's so interesting. That whole story that we watched the little animation of, which is what I was talking about. I want to use AI to make an animation like that of the story of the plate, basically remaking that video with AI because I was gonna make my own version of it, but it's just too much work to do animation by hand. Um, Too much work for me with all the other work I have to do. But yeah, the um, the story, which will be part of this video, because I can use AI to do it, is made up. It's a made up story. Um, the British people were back in the 18th century fascinated with Chinese culture. Um, yeah, they were just fascinated with Chinese culture, and this stuff was really dear, the Chinese stuff. So the Chinese invented this process, and then the British got hold of it and started making it in mass quantities. There were like 200, 200 or something factories making this stuff all over the place. Some like Stoke-on-Trent, it was like their cotton industry, making plates with blue willow and all different kinds. There's, like you said, there's a brown one, a brownish colored one, and a black one. There's several different colors. The blue was the most popular because it was a new color, if you can believe that. Yeah, so they were really fascinated with that, and that's what's really so. I think it's Spode. I don't know if I'm saying that properly. Spode. They just went out of business recently, and they were one of the guys that made this stuff. And they went out of business because China can make it cheaper. So it's ironic how it went, kind of like AI, right? It was the technology of the day, of its day. This was the high tech of its day, and invented in China, and then the British stole it, and then the Chinese stole it right back. Pretty interesting, isn't it? Ironic. Anyway, that's that. A brother in Stoke-on-Trent. Okay, if I'm ever down there, I'll know who to call. So I looked at our quiz. Well, let's see. I have to mute this. Pause it. I looked at our quiz, and it looks very familiar. Is this the same quiz we did last week? It says weekly history quiz for May 6th to the 12th, but this looks really familiar to me. Or did we have a question about this before? Is this last week's quiz again? What was the name of the world's first adhesive stamp which was introduced on May 6, 1840? Queen's Head, Inverted Jenny, Penny Black, Rule Britannia. I know which one this is, but uh, I remember even saying that we used this in a couple of videos, this stamp. Let's see when we go to the next one. So the answer to this is, anybody? Everybody knows the answer. It's penny black, right? And there were penny reds. There were different color ones. I think they were. Which island was purchased for 60 Dutch guilders worth of goods in 1626? Long Island, Manhattan Island, Prince Edward Island, Bonaire. No, I don't think this. It must have been. Must have had that question before. Yeah, the penny black. Which island was purchased for 60 Dutch guilders worth of goods in 1626? Pretty sure I know the answer to this one too, because as I've said, we were surrounded by American culture, if that gives you a clue. Prince Edward Island is in Canada. That is one of the provinces. No, not Long Island. Yeah, pretty sure it's Manhattan. Uh, that was the name of the tribe, the Manhattan. And yeah, it was New Amsterdam originally. Which passenger cruise ship was sunk by a German submarine in 1915? RMS Lusitania, Step Aboard the Titanic Las Vegas style, USS Enterprise, or the Costa Concordia? Well, I know 1234 knows the answer to this one because she made a comment on the post that I put up today because this event happened today in history. And yeah, originally New Amsterdam. Manhattan, yeah, they sold it for a handful of beads, the saying goes. They sold Manhattan. That's right. It is the Lusitania, Darren. You got in there ahead of 1234. The Lusitania. Joan of Arc broke the Russian siege of Orleans. How do you say that? Orleans? In 1429. True or false? It's New Orleans, but that's not how they say it. That's how I say it. New Orleans. I think it's Orleans, isn't it? Um, New Orleans is not pronounced New Orleans. I think most Americans would say New Orleans, but in New Orleans they don't call it New Orleans. It's Narlands. Narlands. I'm gonna go with true on this one. I don't know the answer. Does anybody know? 1, 2, 3, 4 said, oh, we got a false and a true, but I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4 on this one. No, it's false. Oh, what was wrong about that? The place or the date? A democratic and peaceful transfer of power happened for the first time in 61 years. 1 year ago this week in which country? Oh, Singapore, Indonesia, Cuba, Malaysia. I'm not familiar with that part of the world. Or Cuba. I don't think the answer is Cuba. Anybody on this one? I don't know the answer to that one. Definitely need your help for this one. Oh, we got one wrong anyway, so we're out of getting a perfect score again. Should have gone with Darren. You had that one right, didn't you, about Joan of Arc? Malaysia? Good man. In what year did Winston Churchill first become British Prime Minister? 1937, 1938, 1939, or 1940? Prime Minister? It'd be 39, wouldn't it? I think it was 39. Um, Churchill, what was that park? Is it in Stalybridge? I can't remember now. Oldham? Can't remember. The first place he got a seat. Um, one of you should know it. Somewhere around here in Greater Manchester, Churchill's first seat. We got 2 for 40 and 1 for 39. I think I'm with 1, 2, 3, 4 on this one again. I'm pretty sure it's 39 because that's the year the war started. and he was prime minister right before, uh, no, not Attlee, Chamberlain. Um, no, you're right, 1940. Christopher Lee, he took over from Chamberlain, didn't he? Christopher Lee, that's a question. The film Dracula was released this week in 1958, but who played the starring role? Christopher Lee, Sean Connery, Michael Douglas, or Laurence Olivier? I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this one too. I don't think it was Michael Douglas. 1958. He wasn't very old in 1958. Oldham, yeah. He was the MP for Oldham. Definitely Christopher Lee. Christopher Lee is, I always get them mixed up. Saruman? Is it Saruman or it really bugged me that Tolkien made those two names familiar. Sauron and Saruman, right? He was Saruman. Yeah, he played several of those bad guys. Henri Desgrange, don't know how to say that, established the world's first bicycle world record this week in 1893 at 35.325 kilometers, 21.95 miles an hour. True or false? Don't know. Christopher Lee, he's on the cover of Band on the Run as well. Um, I don't know the answer to this. Could be true. Um, the fastest car in the world was built in Altrincham by a bicycle manufacturer, the Ralpho Cycle Company in Altrincham. That was the video I put out yesterday. Yeah, lots of bicycle stories in this neck of the woods. The Sail Hotel. No, it's not called Sail Hotel. Or is it called? Maybe it is called Sail Hotel now. False. He sounds French. Okay, we'll go with false. No, it's true. Nelson Mandela was sworn in as the first black president of which country in 1994? I think we know this one. Central African Republic, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Brazil. The Sail Hotel, there was a botanical garden, Victoria pleasure ground behind the Sail Hotel. And the very first, it's not the first pneumatic tire bicycle race, but the first time it was recognized, officially recognized. I think there was one race before. That's the first race that had a pneumatic tire bicycle. Before that, they had iron uh, wheels, tires, steel tires. And so they put a handicap because it was so obvious that the pneumatic tire was just blowing these other guys off the track in the previous race, which it wasn't in Sale, but the first race where it was recognized, and they put a handicap on the guy on the pneumatic tires. South Africa, yes, of course. I think SA means something else nowadays. Which event in history is shown in this famous photo? End of the American Civil War, completion of the first transcontinental railroad, Ulysses Grant election as U.S. President, First scheduled passenger train service. Uh, Pretty sure I know what this is. Get in closer and see if I can see what that is. We got two guys shaking hands. We got two trains meeting each other. Hmm. I'm thinking it's the first transcontinental railroad. Yeah, rail. We say railroad. You say railway here, right? I don't think it's the end of the Civil War. Wouldn't. I mean, it's that era, but don't think that would be the end of the Civil War. I'm thinking it's the completion of the first transcontinental railroad. Um, could be the first passenger train service, though. No, there'd be one before. No, I'm going to go with transcontinental railroad. Yeah. There's a very famous photo. Seven, we did worse than average. There's a very famous photo of the last spike, and of the guy. I think it was ceremonial, a gold railway spike, and there's a photo of that as well. That might be Canadian because there's a the Canadian one was done at the same time, and I was mentioning it the other night. I still don't remember because I never looked it up. The Scottish guy who lived in Newfoundland, he was involved with the railway, and I can't remember which it was now. I think it's daylight savings. He invented daylight savings um, while in Newfoundland, I think. Don't quote me on that, but pretty sure. Um, he was a railway guy. He That's why he was in Newfoundland. He was building the railway across Newfoundland, and yeah, was it like 1,000 miles of track? I think it's 800 miles from St. John's to Corner Brook, but it went from St. John's to Port aux Basques. Hmm, don't know. Uh, I've been seeing a lot of Sir Humphrey Gilbert stuff popping up in my feed lately. I don't know why that is. There must be a anniversary or something of Sir Humphrey Gilbert. He's the guy that claimed Newfoundland for Elizabeth, Elizabeth the first first part of the British Empire, Newfoundland. Um, he's been popping up in my feed a lot lately. I don't know why I was telling you that. Anyway, hello, Benny Bagslap. You're just in time to be too late. We're signing off, but you can rewind and see what happened. We were talking about plates tonight, if you can believe that. Um, yeah, the Golden Spike. Maybe that was the Canadian one. Anyway, there you go. I can't remember if it was daylight savings or time zones. It's one or the other. It must have been daylight savings. Anyway, we'll find out at some point in time, won't we? Um, that's it. Is there anything else? No. I got a bunch of topics that this wasn't going to be the topic tonight, but I wanted to show you that AI I was working on and see what you thought of that. So we'll catch you later. See you in the next one.